Hey everyone, this is Matt with Bigfoot's Paranormal. Welcome back to another episode of Bigfoot's Paranormal podcast. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Shadow people, and because something just really crazy just happened to me, I'm pretty sure it's paranormal in nature. We're going to be talking about phone calls from deceased friends, family, relatives, whatever you want to say. Anyways, so I just had an amazing, crazy experience. I'm still scratching my head and I'm trying to figure this out. So, long story short, got a phone call. Picked up the call, said hello, and nobody answered. And it was just nothing, no noise, just quiet. I'm like, this is really strange. What's going on here? And so I said hello. I said, this is Matt. And a very breathy voice. But honestly, what's crazy is I think it sounded just like my mom. Every time I start to talk about this, I get goosebumps. Not just on my arm, both arms, all the way down my neck, down my legs. I'm not going to say I'll show you guys, but yeah, just crazy. I've heard about this happening to people where they get an anonymous call from a loved one, and there's nothing, and then it's completely quiet like that, and then basically some entity or person says something that the loved one would understand or understand their voice or whatever, and then it goes quiet, and then it gets hung up. Unfortunately, I didn't know what was going on, and I wish I could recorded the voice because I could listen back to it, and had my wife listen back to it, and a bunch of other people that know my mom's voice, and confirm that it was maybe her voice. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Let's get cold in here. So, yeah, the temperature in this room is dropping pretty quick. Anyways, so that was an amazing experience. I just wanted to talk about that real quick because it just happened. I'm super excited, but also confused, and I'm not exactly sure what that was. I just spent about half an hour going through Google searches looking for the phone number. It's a disconnected number. When I called back, it was disconnected. It was a local phone number to my area. So I don't know exactly who called or why they called or if that truly was my mom. My mom died about 4 years ago. So very strange that that would happen. I'm more on the scientific side. I do like the scientific side. I like to have evidence to prove something actually happened. A recording, a video recording, an audio recording, something tangible that I can say, here's what I got. And you guys go through and decide what you think this is. I just, that's the way I've kind of started out my paranormal journey, and that's how I like to do things. I've gotten into that side. Now, I do sometimes experience things, a lot of personal experiences. And I think that just because I have experienced so much, even with the paranormal. I've experienced the good, I've experienced the bad, I've experienced pretty much everything in between. Human spirits, demons, angels, maybe Jesus himself. I've experienced a lot of crazy things, and if you're either scientific or non-religious, I don't mean any harm by saying all that, but those are the things personally I feel I've experienced. So those are, again, just personal experiences. Some of the stuff we have documented, and over the years, over 26, almost 27-year journey I may not have been on. But yeah, to have that happen to me, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and it's a little frustrating, and a little bit, now I have all these questions. And that's the paranormal for you. I mean, the paranormal the more you delve into it, usually the more questions you have. Why did that happen? somebody pulling a prank? Is there something else higher level involved? Does that mean something's going to happen? Should I be careful? Should I take that as a sign that she's okay? Should I, there's all these things running through my head right now. A lot of emotions. So, anyways, again, I'm just sitting here, just baffled and trying to figure out what exactly happened. But that was a really cool experience. Mom, if that was you, thank you so much for taking the time to reach out to me. Bear with me, I'm getting a little emotional here. Yeah, just an amazing experience if that was really, truly paranormal in nature. So, anyways, the topic that we really want to talk about today is shadow people. And that's something that people have asked me about quite a bit through Facebook. They message me through Facebook, also LinkedIn, and other things. Our channel, our YouTube channel, people ask us all the time. Twitter, emails. I saw a shadow person. What is this thing? What is it? Is it gonna hurt me? Should I be afraid of it? Is this place haunted because of it? Lots and lots and lots of questions. So I'm going to try and take this one talking point at a time, and just remember that this is based off not only my experiences but my opinion. So in the paranormal, there is no right or wrong. There is debunking, but basically thinking about what a shadow person is, there just really isn't any solid proof. I've talked to a lot of people that have researched them, and that's basically, there's a lot of different, in the paranormal field, there's so many different things, and some people just really focus on certain, things. Like you have UFO researchers. UFO research there's a lot to it, a lot. And to do full-time UFO research, you do a lot of location scouting, you do, if you're in the field. If you're just researching it, you're doing a lot of research online to try and, look at the events and compare them to other things and stuff like that. Don't want to get into the whole field, but I mean, people research ghosts, people research Bigfoots, people research lake monsters, people research, demons, specifically, only those things. So, shadow people, what is a shadow person? We'll start there. A shadow person is essentially a shadow that's upright like we are, and they seem to have an intelligence to them. They seem to be kind of just watching or observing, and I think there's different types of shadow people. I think that there's so many theories on what they are or what they aren't. The origins of shadow people have been around for hundreds of years. I mean, since civilization basically started. I think the Indians have some kind of I don't know what they call it. I haven't done a whole lot of research into the Indians and what they call shadow people, but they thought they were evil. And then, as you go through history and you start to look at like England and Ireland and all those places where they had castles and a lot of the historical areas, there's shadow people seen all over the place in those castles and those older locations. And so they've been seen since, we basically were building castles and stuff like that. And I don't think there's any existing reports because records and all that stuff from 2,000 years ago, 1,800 years ago, 1,000 years ago, even a couple hundred years ago, most of them, they're gone. Unless they're digitally stored on a computer or on the web, it's really hard to find reports back that far. But there are like cave dwellings where basically they have like pictures of shadows and stuff on the walls. They also have aliens and stuff too, supposedly. I've seen some interesting pictures of that as well, but we're not talking about that today. So, shadow people. I've encountered maybe 2 or 3 different types. Demons sometimes will look like a shadow or a cloaked figure. In my experience with shadows, 99% of the time, it's just as soon as you see them, they dart. They dart down the way, or they disappear, or they'll dart through a wall, or whatever. They just vanish. A lot of times, shadow people are seen in places where there's a lot of paranormal activity. Now, there's a lot of theories, and depending on which side of the aisle you're on, if you're on the psychic side, they could just be spirits that you could be seeing through the veil, as they call it. I don't like the word veil. You could be maybe seeing maybe another dimension. Maybe that's what they are. Maybe they're interdimensional entities that are crossing through our time area, our time period, or maybe crossing into our dimension, and then basically crossing back out. And again, this is all just theory, so just take this with a grain of salt. Another theory is there are human spirits that basically they can't fully compose themselves, like you see me now if you're watching the YouTube channel. They basically just don't have, they just are a black silhouette, but they're an upright being. Sometimes when they walk, you can hear them. I've actually heard them. I've seen them walking down hallways, and I've heard doom, 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 footsteps. So again, that adds another wrinkle into what are they. People have seen shadows with red eyes, and I think that might be more of a demonic type entity. Some people say, "Oh, shadow people are evil." I don't think they are. I have a friend that studied shadow people for a long period of time, and he told me that he thought they were time travelers. And they were somehow cloaked, but unfortunately sometimes if you just saw them at the right angle or whatever, you could actually see them. And so they're just traveling back in time, and they're observing us. And maybe trying to manipulate what's going on a little bit and trying to help us maybe, so that maybe they can affect our future in a positive way, I'm hoping. So that's another theory of what shadow people are. Sometimes people see shadows, open things or close things, like a human could do, which is very interesting. I know when I lived in the demonic house that we lived in, demonically haunted house, I should say, that we lived in back in California, the closet door would slide open and a cloaked figure would basically appear. And then he would go from a shadowy figure to more of a cloaked figure with like the black hood over his head, or its head, I should say. I don't think it's he. And then when it actually tilted its head back, I could see more of a skull for a face. It looked like death itself. So I really think that it depends on what you're doing and what your situation is. And I think a lot of the time, I think that maybe they manipulate our thoughts. And I think spirits do this too. It also goes into how they create EVPs and show up on cameras and pictures where nobody sees them. I think they're manipulating electronic devices. Basically, we are electronically driven. We have brain waves that go through electrical currents that go through our body and send signals to make us talk, make us move our arms and stuff. So I think they could possibly be able to manipulate those to maybe show themselves to us. And that's why maybe I might see it, but Amanda might not. Or she might see it and I might not. I've had a lot of people, when I did tours back in California, we did a place called Black Star Canyon. And I called that Shadowland, because every time I turned around, there seemed to be a shadow standing right behind me. They really enjoyed trying to scare me. I think they weren't trying to scare me as in I'm going to scare the hell out of you so you leave. I think they were more or less just playing. It was more playful. And they would interact, and the K2s would light up and stuff like that. And everybody, I felt kind of very comfortable up there, even though I was alone in the middle of the wilderness at anywhere from 8 p.m. to 4 in the morning when I was up there, or when we were doing tours. People also would see the shadows like run across the road. The taller ones now, I think, when we figured out what those were, but the smaller ones, the ones that are not over 6 or 7 feet tall, I believe those are probably just some kind of paranormal being. Like I said, I don't know if they're interdimensional or if they've always been here, or like I said, they're some kind of spirit, human spirit maybe. I think maybe sometimes we don't see them fully formed, so we just see the black silhouette. Could they be angels? Could they be demons? Who knows for sure? I've had lots of experiences with them. Like I said, a lot of my experiences were at Black Star Canyon. If you go back and watch my Black Star Canyon videos, where I was basically up there investigating by myself, doing EVP sessions and stuff like that, you'll see like the K2s go off. And what was interesting is, I don't want to get into too much of Bigfoot, but it seems like everywhere Bigfoots are, there's some kind of paranormal activity going on with it. Mainly ghosts, but also UFOs are seen in that area too. So, another crazy theory, I'm just throwing this out, and I have no scientific backing for it. Could it be some kind of alien? I don't know. I mean, maybe I watched too much of the X-Files, but anywho, so we just don't know what they are at this point. My interactions with them, I mean, we were in a location one time where I thought we were dealing with a demonic case, and this thing kept attacking this lady. Everything fit into demonic, and I flipped on the lights, and I'm sorry, I think actually somebody else in my group flipped on the lights, and the shadow was standing there, and I watched it walk across the room and then disappear. And I turned around, I can't see anything, but, essentially I was like, wow, you didn't see that? The girl standing behind me didn't see that? I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, shadow people essentially have been around, like I said, forever. They've been seen by a lot of people, mainly seen in haunted locations. Danny, the kid from the Woodbine Hotel, people saw him bouncing around, and the little girl. I don't know who the little girl was, but she definitely came through on the spirit box a couple times. If you watch our Woodbine Hotel show, you'll see that. But she came through the spirit box multiple times. They tried to do EVPs. I don't think we even got anything on EVP because something decided it didn't want to communicate on audio. And basically, all we got was a very loud static the whole time I already recorded. All like 12 or 13 hours of audio that recorded was the same. And it was not just one recorder, it was multiple recorders, different types of recorders. All of them had that same shh. And so you couldn't hear anything in the background. You could barely hear us talking. So I don't know what made that, but anyhow. So we definitely saw the little spirit of Danny there, the little shadow kid. He kept darting around in the bar area and then into the other parlor area. And then also we would see another shadow person up by the stairs. And then also when we were sitting in the dining room doing our spirit box session, something came in there, and of course we got that thing on thermal, which I don't know. That's not a shadow, but I don't know what that was. It looks to me like I'm almost like an alien. So again, shadow people, I mean, in my experiences, they've never been real threatening or anything. Bear with me rather than this sneak here. Sorry. If you're watching the video, Miss Tink just joined us. She's our little Minton Chihuahua. She's about the size of a football. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, sorry to be so scatterbrained, but I've had so many experiences. On the Queen Mary, we got a picture of one. We were in room B340, and we were in there for, 2 hours. And if you listen to our other podcasts, you'll hear me all talk about it. No activity. Until the last, 5 or 6 minutes, we was like, okay, the room is changing. The atmosphere is changing. It feels different in here. And that's when basically we decided to leave for some reason. Everybody was bored and nothing had happened for 2 hours. And so we're walking out, and this is, 15 years ago. I had a little 5 megapixel camera, digital camera, and I started taking pictures down the hallway. And the V deck is the longest deck on the ship. And room B340 is back towards the back of the ship on the left side. And so that's basically where people have had strange activity happen, and lots of strange things have happened in that room. You can look that up for yourself. But picture after picture. I took 10 pictures, and I didn't even realize I got anything. I just felt like something was watching us. So I took a picture, and I got an actual picture of a silhouette of a shadow standing in the hallway. Definitely looked like a man. Big, broad shoulders, very tall, at least as tall as me, if not taller. And he was basically just standing there staring at us. And so essentially, when I went back through to look at the pictures, which I did often, or still do often, I go back whenever I take a lot of pictures of the location, I'll go back through and analyze them, and analyze them again. But I saw this picture, I'm like, wow, whoa, it was really cool to see him. But he was transparent. I mean, it was just a black silhouette of a person. You could kind of see, you could definitely see the shoulders. You can see the arms, you can see the legs, and you can see the head. But when I looked through it, it was transparent. There was no facial features or anything like that. You couldn't see any facial features on him. It was just like a black, or kind of not a black, but grayish, clear grayish face. So it was just almost like a silhouette, like a shadow is. And I think that's where the shadow people, basically, the name shadow person came from, is people saw these shadows that look like our shadows, but they're standing upright. So, anyhow, a lot of other things have happened with shadow people in my experience. I think we got them on camera 2 or 3 times. We definitely got them at Smitty's Cafe. We got 2 little apparitions running around by the pool table, and we got that on video. Smitty's Cafe will probably come out here. I keep saying this, it will come out here in the future. I've got some older video from some older cameras that are hard to edit because they're so old. The cameras are so old, but the technology is awesome, and the videos just not the same quality as what's out now. So I'm trying to figure out how best to edit it and put it into a bunch of clips so you guys can see those apparitions and stuff. In fact, I think some of that evidence is actually on our YouTube channel. So you can go on there, Bigfoot's Paranormal, and take a look for that. But yeah, and then there was a little shadow. I think they were girls. I'm pretty sure they were little shadowy girls that runs behind the bar at Smitty's Cafe. That was really cool. Like I said, we've been through so many homes and so many businesses and so many other locations, ships and stuff like that, where we've experienced shadow people. I think another one of my favorite ones was the Star of India. And I had my video camera up, I had my IR on, I could see the back of the boat, and right where, and this is the cool part, I got an EVP, right where the chains used to come up for the ship is where a guy died. He unfortunately got tangled in the chains, got pulled up through, cut in half, unfortunately, and he perished. But people have reported, in fact, what's funny is Jason Grant of TAPS, or Ghost Hunters, the Ghost Hunter show, was there, and they experienced the same exact things that I did 2 weeks before. And the ship, no one was allowed on the ship until after they were done filming. In fact, their film crew showed up. I think they weren't there the night of, but the day that we went back to basically present the evidence to the Star of India, they were there. But anyways, so yeah, essentially that shadow just appeared and it walked right in front of me, right where the chains used to come out, and there's a stairwell there now, and essentially then disappeared. But you hear me go, "Oh my God," or something like that, and I say shadow person or whatever I say on the video camera as this thing walks in front of me, and at that same time, I hear, "Watch out." I got an EVP of "Watch out." Kind of like it was warning me to watch out for the chains. Oh, wow. Yeah, goosebumps again. And so that was really cool. That's another cool experience. But, anyways, we were on the Star Video so many times. It's a really cool ship down in San Diego. If you ever get the opportunity to go investigate it, I would highly recommend it. The people there are super nice and just a really cool location. So, anyways, guys, this is getting a little long. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate your support.